with a psychiatrist. I can't say she's a friend of mine too. And she's the most special human being. She's been part of a team that's truly changed my life as a person living with epilepsy from a medical perspective, from an emotional perspective. She's really been absolutely instrumental. And she, at 33 years old, was diagnosed with epilepsy herself. And in a psychiatric practice, it's something that she's so passionate about. And actually working with a psychiatrist that lives with epilepsy is an absolute privilege. I know it sounds like crazy, like celebrating when someone has epilepsy, like, yeah, you got epilepsy, you can join us. But it's really a privilege. And she's just going to share with us today from her side, from a medical side, from the ups and downs, from the stigma, and tears, Dr. Sonoma, tears also the chair lady of our counseling board, our branch board, and she's just been such service to our organization for so many years. So please put your hands together and welcome Chair Sonoma.
I was diagnosed with epilepsy when a friend of mine in Milpark Schoolways said, "You just had a seizure." I said, "Oh no, you're nuts. I had EEGs, they're all normal." He says, "No, come. We're doing an EEG now." And yes, it was normal. Wow. You see, my epilepsy is not the type that you can see. It's not physical. It's like 60% of epilepsy, but doesn't have the physical signs. I just get really angry and upset and cut out. This followed years of me knowing that there is something wrong and being told by doctors I need a psychologist. One, I had seen psychologists since the age of 50 because see, there's something wrong with me. And two, I was a psychiatrist at that time. So I seriously didn't think I needed to see a psychologist. Looking back, I can see quite a few moments in my life where my epilepsy changed drastically. Due to epilepsy, before my diagnosis and after my diagnosis, my life changed because of the illness. I had a fight that I can't remember, but must have been very vicious because my brother-in-law told me that my sister's never, ever going to help me again with it. I can't remember that. I lost a good friend because I insisted I knew Windhoek had an ED road like Witbank. There was no way I could know that. Deja vu, you know, from epilepsy. I made my pharmacology prof so angry when I told him the book he wrote was wrong, that I failed the year. By the way, the book was wrong. I just never would have said that if I didn't have a seizure. I made the psychiatry prof so angry that I didn't get a post after I qualified as a psychiatrist, and I was gently kicked out to go into private. Not what I wanted for life. There were some good things too. The neurology registrars hated the psychiatrist. We had to sit there for 3 months. And after a month being treated like, I apparently yelled at them, and they then started treating me like a queen and helped me. I can't remember that yelling session. None of this was I could remember, but I was taught about it. After my diagnosis, I stopped using alcohol, seemed life-changing, and although I had no problems if others drank socially, they felt awkward and stopped inviting me. So my whole friendship group left. I also was bowled for a 6 with the side effects and the rules that came with the diagnosis. No driving for 10 years. Yes, my neurologist was nasty, 10 years, because my seizures did not control. And yes, he said that seizures control within 3 months a few minutes ago. No, they don't, not always. Working less hours. I couldn't work the hours I was used. I had to change the lighting in my office because it was, I needed softer lighting. I couldn't swim alone. This was my passion, was to swim and to exercise. No swimming without a life. No bathing, no more soaps, no chewing gum. Guys, no chewing gum. And no strobe lighting, so no more concerts. I love going to concerts and to plays. No, no go. You don't know in which theater you will sit and there will be strobe lighting. The side effect of the meds is pretty horrible as well. The weight gain, a slower mind, yes, for the OT. The medication does give you a slower mind, especially in processing speed. The neurologist can tell you it doesn't do it, it does. And even if they change the meds, it still does. And it's not the dosage. Just, I'm a psychiatrist, we pick up these things earlier. The neurologist pick up the major things like, are you orientated? What's the date? Yes, I do know. But I don't think as fast as I used to. And that's medication. That's definitely not an illness. Yes? Yeah. And it's mainly processing speed. Also, I had kidney and liver problems this year, if you guys want to know, quite dramatically. And that's due to the medication. And yes, I always cry when I talk about these things. You guys know why? Because nobody believed me. For 30 years, I was told, no, you're not ill. There's something up there that's not right. So the medication gave me a tremor. It was quite severe. I stopped eating in front of people, started wearing quite a lot of prints. You know, you can't see the food stains on it. I could no longer do my art of ceramics. So I had to find different ways to live. The driving was quite bad. I must say, I've used every single type of taxi you can think of to get to work, and they're all fine. I have used to ride in a Amakroco that had no floor, and I could see the road path beneath my feet. But that was the one that was driving past my house at the right time. So for quite a while, I had that one. One of the private ones had a guy that was smoking in the car, and then he used to spray deodorant in the car. Of course, lovely asthma attack from that one. I was also taught to shop online. At that stage, it was Pick n Pay and Woolworths, none of the other nice ones now, because I had to get food. And Amazon for clothes, because how do you buy clothes if you can't go to the stores? But now, online is quite posh and everybody does it. Despite the side effects, not having seizure and not fighting with people has been absolutely free. Shaban Banabai is my favorite poet. I don't know if you know he's a South African poet. He said it best. Echoes of my other self forever keeps haunting me. The mind always logical, the blood speaking differently. So with time, my dad was diagnosed with epilepsy. And here comes the nicest thing. He refused to believe it. So he refused to take treatment. He continued driving. Because this was a genetic illness, with my dad, we found it out. With mine, we didn't realize it was genetic. All my family was offered free EEGs. None has taken the opportunity. They all believe they don't have it. They won't clearly see the signs and symptoms in them. You are not called flum, for not being angry and yelling at people. There's no reason to be called flame. Here are some rules to help you. Don't discuss with family and friends that don't believe or understand. They will never believe or understand. Keep them informed, but get good support groups and people outside of the family. Their culture and religion and background is disabling them to understand who you are and to live with you. Build your team of doctors and support and therapists. After being to numerous doctors who didn't believe me, this is really important. Your doctors have to have respect for one another. If they hate each other and they don't talk, then it becomes a really difficult road to navigate. They don't have to like each other, but they have to respect each other. Remember, your doctors might not be right all the time. You do know your body better, but you have to listen to your doctors. I've not changed medication, even if I don't agree with it. And I often discuss with them before I even take antibiotics, at least with one or two. But it's quite an issue one of my doctors once said when I told him about a symptom, he said, I never thought about that. But because it's you that tell me, I believe you. I was like, So all your other patients that tells you the same symptom, you don't believe. But because it's me, you believe. Do know your rights, your supported work, and the fact that it's a disability. It is a hidden disability. Even SARS accepted as a disability. The disability can be treated, but it can cost thousands. My medical expense, thousands per year. I don't know how people who doesn't earn a living can afford it. Even the best medical aids have only X amount of chronic that they pay for. So the SARS form gives you a 10% deduction because you have a disability versus the 7% deduction that you normally get. Nothing more, doesn't say anything else. Trying to convince your doctors because you're working that you actually have a disability. And it only gives you the deduction on medical expenses. Doesn't give you a deduction on anything else. They don't listen. But listen to your doctors. Take your meds. I don't always agree, but I take my meds. I have, in the last 10 years, 15 years, missed it 3 times. I paid for it every single time. I will bring up my concerns, but you have to listen to them. You are not objective. I am not objective. Doesn't matter how much I know. They are my carers. Understand as much about your condition as you can. Read, read, and read. Don't read just the airy-fairy or just the medical. Read everything. Go to as many information sessions as you can. Epilepsy.com is one of the IAB, the International Bureau of Epilepsy's websites. The epilepsy is as part of the IAB. The information is an easy bite size and medically sound. And most of my patients understand it quite clearly. So it's easily said with medical sound things. Hide your medication if family don't believe. I've had a psychology friend. One of her main things, if she sees epilepsy or bipolar patient, is teaching them where to hide their medication if their family don't believe or want to lay some higher hands on them. You know, hide it in the office, hide it beneath the carpet in your car. Don't allow your family to stop your medication or make decisions about your life. Going back to school or work after a seizure or admission is always difficult. 2 important that you have to know. You will only be the talk of the coffee station for 6 months. Then somebody else will be the talk of the station. Someone will have an affair, or someone will wear an ugly dress, or someone will act out on a work function. And secondly, people are preoccupied with their own lives. They are more interested in their children and their family. So most of them is not talking about you, even if you feel that way. Find your proof, your time restrictions, and fight for it. Live your truth. You will not be able to return to life before the Big Bang. You need to work out where you can function and what you can do. There's a lovely movie called Happy, the documentary. And it's about happiness. And they say happiness is 50% genetic, 10% circumstances, and 40% choice. Live that 40%. I always tell my patients that 50% is my job. That's the genetic and the medication part. 10% is circumstances, we can't always change it. But the 40% are my patient's job. And the choices you need to make to be happy is to have a gratitude diary. At least be grateful for 2 things every day. Put it on your phone if you don't want to write it down. Have like a letter on your phone. I'm happy for this and this and this. Exercise. 10 to 20 minutes a day is good enough for your brain. You need to exercise more if you want to look after your heart and lungs. But 10 to 20 minutes a day is good for your brain. You don't always have time for that, but you do make coffee, don't you? So when you make coffee, hold onto the counter and walk in the spot. That's 5 minutes. So drink coffee 4 times a day, wait for the microwave, wait for the water to cook, and those things help. They used to say you have to exercise in a chunk. It's still better to exercise in a chunk. But they say short burst of exercise is also positive and also help. So all of us can do the 10 or 20 minutes. Support, family, friends, therapy. Go to the people that care about you. Talk to them. Not all of us have the money for therapy, but we all can do a meeting or a family group of friends. Choose the people you can talk to. You know, don't talk to the people that go, oh, or to the people like, that story, my story is so much better. No. Talk to the people that actually listen and care. Variety. That is maybe the most difficult thing ever. Who eats the same food every day? Or the same food every week? Who changes the food weekly? Most of us eat the same food. Most of us wear the same clothing. Most of us drive the same route to work. Variety is by actually wearing a different clothes to the back of your cupboard, eating something that you've never ate before, drive a different road to work. I drove past the Emmerich Dam to work, and there's this tree that every day has a different color. My husband said it's a silver birch, but you can see it's silver or green. I'm just driving past the dam, seeing what ducks are in the water. Are they rowing? Noticing the variety makes sense. So it's, again, not something that you have to do a lot of work for. So it's an hour a day of intense concentration to the exclusion of everything else where time is lost. So that supposedly is the meditation or the coloring. None of that where I'm good at. I can't color, remember the trainer. So I actually worked out if I play computer games, but the easy ones, like Tetris, etc., I actually can get my flow in because it's intense concentration. So everybody has to get their own flow. If flow is for you to fix the hem of your shirt, then that's your flow. If flow is for you to work in the garden, then that's your flow. Find your flow. And then random acts of kindness. You know, as a South African, I think we have much more kindness than we think. We always allow people to walk in front of us, to drive in front of us, make a cup of coffee for somebody in the family or at work, but notice them. Notice the kindness, because that matters. And then the kindness, you know. I've learned that being kind to others and to yourself is really important. We are used to the small kindnesses, but we don't always use the biggest kindness of forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive others. And then the one to hold on to, you are responsible for your own actions and feelings. You are not responsible how others react and feel. You do not have to fight with others so that they can see your truth. You just have to live your truth. I'd like to end with another poem by Shabir Balibai. It's really my favorite. I've got all 9 poetry books from him. He's from Durban, by the way. Do not breathe love for what might have been. Flowers still will open at your touch, and stars still brighten your skies. Do not breathe love for what might have been. Sages will still sit at your feet. The wise love the innocent and always will. Do not breathe love for what might have been. Tides ebb, tides flow. Shores change, tides still come and go. Do not breathe love for what might have been. The leaves have fallen, but this tree still is the tree alive within. Do not breathe love for what might have been. Water rushes down crevices that lie still in pools of light beneath. Do not breathe love for what might have been. Thanks. questions you can ask. I can answer psychiatry questions like the OT one that says, yeah, it does make me slower. I'm very sure of it. Not slow enough not to do my job, but definitely slower than I was before the meds. Any other questions? Yes.
So the challenges you have with your tremors is your challenges color. Basically, how does that happen? Like elaborate.
Okay, my medication gives me the tremor. So I can't eat. If I pick up my hands, you'll see I have a tremor. Most people don't see it because I put my hands onto tables. Some of my patients have seen me for 10 years and they go, you've got a tremor. I'm like, yeah, always. I just hide it well. I put my hands on the table when nobody can see it, sit on my hands, hold something in my hands. So you learn to adapt with it. And no, I don't go to fine dining restaurants. I seldom eat in front of others. It's small adaptations. That's what you need to do. You will have side effects, you will have stuff, but you need to adapt so that you can live. I hope that helps. Anything else?
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. So medication is a treatment. So why are you taking medication?
To stop the epilepsy.
Sorry?
I take medication to stop the epilepsy. So it doesn't give me tremors like an epileptic fit. It gives me tremors like I can't hold a pen and write. So
one of the side effects.
it's one of the side effects of the medication.
There's all medication side effects.
Hmm?
There's all side effects.
All medications have side effects, and that's why you really need to talk to your doctor, because you have to choose medication not only by what medication will treat your specific epilepsy, but also by what side effect are you willing to live with. I'm not willing to live with the one that messes my kidney out completely. So then I'll rather live with the tremor. So it's those kind of things. Or the one that makes me so sleepy I can't work. I'd rather live with the tremor. So all medication has side effects. And you have to sit and decide, what's it worth? It's worth it for me because I can work. I have a life, got a husband, got 5 lovely dogs, 4 lovely dogs. The 5th one come and visit, it's my brother's. So I have a life, and that's why I take the medication. Without the medication, I probably would have been bored.
Just to say something, I think everybody needs to know, as a person with epilepsy, speaking in front of people, doesn't matter how many times we've done it, it's so hard because we stand vulnerable. And it's women like Tia and it's women like myself that stand with courage and say, no, this is how vulnerable we are. And let's make people know that we function in society. And I can honor Tia from the bottom of my heart, so I cry with her. But we cry because it is who we are. And we own it. And we learn to manage it. We learn to live with it.
I don't cry in front of my patients, by the way, or if I do my work. I just cry when I have to talk about myself. You know?